firstly, thank you very much for coming back and watching, and if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you very much. The growth on the channel has been amazing. I've been so impressed with how much it's gone up. My girlfriend said no one would ever watch this channel and I'd never get as many views as I am. Even she's impressed with how well it's done, so thank you very much for coming back every week and subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. There's new content every week and I'll do a different video of some sort of different subject related to electric cars in some sort of way. So please subscribe if you haven't already. This week's video is going to be how to spot the I model. The I model means the battery is owned and not leased. So the non-I model, you lease the battery off RCI and you own or you finance the car. But on the I model, you own the battery outright. You can also obviously be leasing the car, but most people would be doing the battery lease that way. So the I model means the battery's owned outright. You own the battery and the car. Now, because of this, the price of the car the price is a lot higher. So if you're buying one new, the price, I think it's roughly £5-6 grand difference to the total price of the new car. Don't quote me on these figures, and I'm sure someone's going to tell me at the bottom that I'm way off, but it's close to that price difference extra on the car. So if you want an I model from new, it's quite easy. You go into the showroom, you tell the dealer that you want to own the battery outright, you don't want a battery lease, and they'll do you a version of that, owning the battery. The second-hand market is a bit more of a minefield. First, you'll have to find one. There's not many of them. Most people do prefer the leased option because of the lease warranty benefits it gives you and the breakdown cover. But most people, everyone's got their own mind, and some people want to own the battery, which is fair enough. I suppose with the non-existent battery degradation you actually get, then I can understand why a lot of people now are looking at the I model. But personally, I prefer the lease model, but that is personal choice. Like I said, I'll do a video about that another time, about which one's the best one to go for. But if you are looking for an I model second hand, this is how you spot one. So there's a few little different ways of doing it. Option one is you get the reg and you put it into a reg checker. So first one is mycarcheck.co.uk. As you can see on the website there's a space for the registration to go in. Put the registration in, press check. This page will then load up, and then if it has an I there, which I've circled, then that is an I model. If that website suddenly starts stopping showing this kind of information because of a surge in traffic, then the other website you can use is Autotrader. So go to the Autotrader website, scroll halfway down, you'll see this section, click that, then put your reg in. Once you put your reg in, you'll then see the description of the vehicle appear, and there again, as you can see round here, that's where it says the I model. So where that bit is, if it has the I, that means it's the I model. That means the battery is included. So think of I as included, battery included. Some of the other models sometimes won't come up as the I. Sometimes it will say with batteries. Also means the same thing. Now, that's just one way of spotting it physically on a search, so the car's description. That doesn't always mean it's right. So sometimes it might not have an I and it's an I model, and sometimes it might have an I and it's it's not, or it might even be missing it. So don't fully rely on this. It's just a guide. The other way of checking is the price. There'll be a massive price difference between a non-I model and an I model. Don't start, if you look at watching this video in 2017 and you think you're going to pick up an I model for £5 grand, you're not. You're not going to get an I model for that price. So don't start looking in that category. You need to start going up 3 or 4 grand plus for that year to get an I model. So if you think you found an I model for the same price as a normal model, it's not an I model. So stop looking, stop thinking that you found an I model suddenly really cheap. It's extremely unlikely that someone has misadvertised an I model for the wrong price, because whoever bought an I model will know what it is and will advertise it correctly. Now the problem is, the reason why I had to make this video is a lot of dealers advertise cars on Autotrader as the I model and they're not the I model. So that's why I'm making this video. The other thing is, some dealers have the price of an I model and haven't said it's an I model. So the ways of checking are A, the price. It will be more. Now sometimes you might see a really highly priced non-included battery model and not know it's an I model because the dealer's labelled it as an I model when it's not. So then the other way of checking is ringing RCI. So I'll put the number for RCI's battery lease department on the bottom of the screen here. It'll also be in the description, but all you have to do is ring RCI, give them the reg, and they'll tell you if it's a battery lease. You can also ring Renault Customer Service. Renault Customer Service number, also at the bottom of the screen, also a link in the description for Renault Customer Services number. Both those two people can tell you if the battery model is leased or non-leased. And they are the three main ways of finding out. So one is doing a reg lookup, two is the price bit difference, and three, the only guaranteed way of checking is ringing Renault Customer Service or RCI. Now, if you're buying from a reputable dealer, most reputable dealers who are ZE approved will know the difference and will already know this. But the surefire way of knowing that you've not bought a battery lease is you haven't got a battery lease to sign when you collect the vehicle. If you're filling in any kind of proposal form for a battery lease, you don't need it for the I model. The battery's yours, so there's no reason to have a lease agreement. So there's no monthly payments for that. The I model still has a battery guarantee. The exact details of it are on Renault's website and also written in the description. I'll display brief details of it here. One of the other ways is they'll have a little eye on the back of the car. So right at the back, there'll be a tiny little plastic eye like these images here. But don't use it as a 100% guide because the eye could be taken off. Supposedly it's only in the UK. And you could also buy an eye off eBay and stick it on. So don't be 100% reliable on the little eye sticker at the back. Use all the methods that I've said in this video, and that'll help you determine if it's an I model or not. But like I said, just look at every single thing. I've done some research on if there's any clues in the chassis number. So like I did the video previously about motors, and there's a key letter in the chassis. There is no key letter in the chassis that gives away if the car is registered as an I model or non-I model. The other thing to mention in this video is some people are on the assumption that at the end of their battery lease, they can buy the battery off Renault. I've read forums all over the internet of people claiming they've done this. However, I can't actually find any actual proof that they have done it. So take that with a pinch of salt. As far as I'm aware, no one has ever bought out their battery lease and turned it into an I model. So don't believe everything you read on the internet. Obviously, most of it is rubbish. So don't get to the end of the lease and assume that you can buy your battery. There's also rumours floating around the internet that Renault will give away the battery leases for free. To older cars. What's more likely to happen is if your battery ever reaches the end of its life, Renault might replace it with a new ZE40 battery free of charge, but in consideration for that, they'll charge you an extra £10 a month for the battery lease because they want those old battery back for home storage units because they can resell them. There's money in reselling them. If you've paid for that battery pack in full from your leasing agreement and then they give you a new battery, the new ZE40 battery, they're also reinvesting their money back into that car again. So that's more likely to happen than ever giving away the batteries for free. It's more likely they'll want the batteries back and they'll replace it with a ZE40 battery, but they'll ask you for a contribution, either higher monthly payments for the battery lease, or what they might even do is ask you to pay, say, £1,000 towards having it changed and higher monthly payments for the battery lease. So thanks very much for watching the video this week. If you've enjoyed it, please like the video. That really helps boost my viewings. It also improves Google's search rankings on my video, so please give it a thumbs up. If you really like it, please share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll be back here next week with another video, and I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching.